Good day, everyone. Welcome back once again to the Dirty Pat Walsh channel on YouTube with me, your host, Dirty Pat Walsh. We're going to have a dip of some Stoker's Blue, and I'm going to talk to you in the second installment of being a punk rocker a punk rock teenager in the 1980s. So, cheers, everybody. It's hard. This is a hard topic to approach for me. Just to figure out what to talk about. So I guess I'm just gonna break it up into different concepts and things that happened during that time. Some of them will be war stories. Some of them will be watching bands play. Today, we're going to talk about fanzines because I was I was really into fanzines when I was a teenage punk rocker in the '80s, and I still love fanzines. And homemade books and do-it-yourself publishing. I'm a big I believe in that. Self-publishing. You know, like anything, do it yourself. Stay 100% independent, and the more independent you stay, the more control you have over what you do. So anyway, I dug up some fanzines here just to give you a brief example. Now, I published a fanzine, as I mentioned numerous times, called Warehouse of Strangers. I don't have a single copy of. I used to have a copy of issue 8, I think, one copy of it. There is a picture of the cover in the Warehouse of Strangers radio catalog of photographs, but I can't find the actual copy. Warehouse of Strangers was anything from a 2-page broadsheet to a 20 or 30-page little staple book. I did it different every time. Sometimes I'd do it 8.5 by 11 size. Sometimes I'd fold it in half and have 5.5 by 8, I think it is. It all depended on how I was feeling, what resources were available, and the way I used to do my fanzine most of the time was I do all the work, like setting it up, cutting and pasting. Everything was cutting and pasting by hand. No computers, no nothing. I do that in the daytime hours, and then in the nighttime hours, my stepfather, whom I have no love for whatsoever and never have, he had his business office down in the basement of our house, and I at this point in time I was sleeping on the couch in the basement because I didn't have a bedroom in my house. So I figured I'm gonna reap the benefits of this office. So he had a photocopier down there, and he had a stamp machine, which was like you just run a letter through this machine, and it's a stamped envelope, And he could never figure it out or check. There was no inventory on it, so I used to scam so much postage from him and so much photocopying from. I'd be up all night photocopying, trying to keep it quiet. Every motion was, like if I'd woken anybody up, I would have been in a shit ton of trouble. So my mother, who runs a printing shop to this day. She ran a printing shop back then, so I figured I would try, say, hey Mom, if you publish or print my fanzine, I'll pay you. And so she did one issue. I had arranged for her to put together like 150 copies or something like that. And anyhow, she came home. She came home with about 15 copies, threw them at me, and said, "Don't ever fucking ask me to print this communist garbage ever again." She was a hater. And there was nothing communist in the fanzine at all. But for a short while, I did publish a little fanzine in the prison system. I would get poems from prisoners, and they'd send them to me, and I would make a little broadsheet out of it. This is called The Cockroach, Journal of Anti-Authoritarian Poetry, Volume 1, Issue 3. The pen is your bomb. I had my roommate was an artist named Steve, and he used to do all these little doodles for me. Free all political prisoners. I couldn't put staples in it because you can't mail anything with staples into the prison system. Let me see if I can find. I have some. Oh yeah, I always used to have a poster in the middle. I don't even know what it said. Why are you so happy, Eddie? Because I have just robbed a bank. Make the bastards pay. Tell them Eddie and Sid sent you. A cockroach. This issue is actually just poems of my friends. And I did. This was kind of a special issue I did on Norman Naraki from Montreal. He's not a prisoner, but he's a well-known anarchist artist, and I did a lot of poems. I don't have time on this video to read any of the poems. What did I write about him? Norman Naraki is a writer-musician from Montreal, Quebec. He plays in the cabaret political group Rhythm Activism. Norman and the rest of RA can be reached at blah, 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 Montreal, Quebec. So, yeah. So anyway, this was my other fanzine, The Cockroach. But yeah, I got some cool stuff here. I got Bad Taste #5. Now these were all just little magazines people did out of pocket, at home. Some of them were good, some of them were awful. When mine was good, it was good, but when it was awful, it was really awful. This is a good one. Sporadic Droolings. It's got a lot of interviews with a lot of good bands. I have this really cool one from, I believe it's Greece. This multicolored jank here. And it comes with cool little stuff inside, that's the thing with fanzines, people would always be putting stuff in them, little surprises. This one has a bunch of them. And this is in English. Anyhow, yeah, this is all in Greek, I believe. It's lots of cool images, stuff like that. Fanzines were so cool, man. They still are. This one was, what's this? This is a little comic book called Broken Fender. This was a good example of a punk rock fanzine. What Wave 18. This was a good one. This was one of the bigger ones, I think. Lots of interviews, record reviews. Got us, like I said, little extras inside. What is this thing? Holy moly! It's a signed picture from Bloodshot Bill. It's a Bloodshot Bill pinup. That's great. Bloodshot Bill's a friend of mine. Yeah, real cool. This is a fanzine my buddy Rob Faraz put out called Fifth City, and he did this for a number of years. It was in very poor taste. You know, this guy, old guy, talking to this kid saying, "My dink feels funny." Rob was all about, yeah, it's all about kicks, man. He was just, if it was offensive, whatever. Anyway, Rob has a pretty good job as a journalist right now, as far as I know. So that's great. Punk rock cookbooks, you know, Don't Have a Cow. Maximum Rock and Roll. This was the punk rock Bible throughout the 80s and the 90s. And they ended, I'm not sure when they ended. This particular issue has a review of the Diplomats 7-inch in it. I'm going to read it to you. The Diplomats, Sun Ra Ra Ra, Split EP. You know, the first time you hear something and you immediately think, this is a great song, every time you play it for someone, she or he will think the same, and the song will go on to be one of your all-time, and you knew it from that first listen. Well, I had one of those moments with the Diplomats' Gimme Hell, the first song on their side of this EP. The music is simplistic garage, including a very primitive guitar solo. The lyrics aren't that clever, but there is something in the delivery and composition that makes this one great song. The rest of the EP isn't that bad either. The other track from the Diplomats is almost as good, with a more rockabilly tinge. Sun Ra 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 unfortunately seems disadvantaged by me listening to the other side first. Sorry guys, Sun Ra 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 is dirtier, but still plays some catchy, punky garage. They could easily be an undiscovered early 80s band. Also included is a 10-song Sun Ra Ra CD and a Diplomats DVD. Cool stuff. So yeah, got a good review in Maximum Rock and Roll in July of 2009, or June of 2009. So that's, I guess it was still going, at least up until 2010 probably. I don't know when they died, but yeah, this was the Bible. Anyhow, my time's up. I hope you enjoyed this installment of being a teenage punk rocker in the 1980s. Yeah, I'll do more stuff on fanzines later. More stuff on everything as it comes along. All right, be well, everybody. Thanks for watching. Whoa!